The WoW token is coming to TBC. That's right, they added it to the game. Not quite, but that's what it looks like. You see, very recently, WoW got updated, and we found that in the back end, they've added, the TBC Dark Portal bundle, whatever you want to call it, and the WoW token for the anniversary side of the game. Now, you see this, and it immediately raises a shit ton of concerns. A shit ton of problematic issues in regards to the classic community and how they're going to react to this. And honestly, the fact that it's a terrible decision doesn't need to be repeated, but it is. Except Blizzard probably has access to analytics that makes this kind of a damning situation all the same. Now, right here, you guys can see interface, UI, tokens, WoW token gold, catalog shop, X token, Blizzard token UI for Mr. Pandaria. Then you have the Blizzard auction house, WoW token frame, and just the whole thing added into the game files and the clients. This is backend data, and this is likely going to be in place for TBC or for TBC era or Wrath era or whatever the case, right? Because if they are going all the way to Wrath of the Lich King Classic or Anniversary all over again, the WoW token being added does make some sense, even though nobody really wants that. The problem here is that the fact that they're willing to add a WoW token in TBC or looking to add a WoW token in TBC is a really shitty situation overall, because it makes me wonder why Blizzard thinks they could get away with this. Now, we know there's a huge RMT and botting issue on anniversary servers, right? That's not to be like a mystery at this point. RMT is at all-time high. There's no GDKPs, no nothing. People are just swiping because they can swipe. And now Blizzard has been banning a lot of people lately. A lot of people have been catching permabans for buying gold or getting caught buying gold. And that's affecting people, in the sense that, oh my god, Blizzard is actually doing things. They're changing things. They might be cracking down on bots because they're adding their own WoW token now, because the botting issue has been like a travesty for a long time, right? And I could blame Blizzard, I could blame the classic guys, but I'm going to blame Microsoft here. GMs fall under QA, they fall under community management, and Microsoft fired all that. They don't have a very good QA team, they don't have a very good, community management team. They've got rid of all those people. So we need GMs, but I don't see a universe where Activision or Microsoft ever writes those checks ever again. And if you looked at the comment section of any YouTube video, any Reddit thread, anything, you'll see people say, but private servers have no bots, they have no gold tokens or all this stuff. How can a private server handle this and Blizzard can't? I'm gonna be real. They should be able to. Yes, I know private servers have much less players, it's not official, they can't make as much money off it. I know scandals of private server devs selling gold, but the issue is the comparison is there regardless of facts and backend data issues. People only see that a private server doesn't have botting issue or gold buying and selling issues, whereas official servers do. And it's this huge problematic issue across the board because people are getting madder and madder and more upset at Blizzard. Or, to be fair, this could just be the very vocal minority. Blizzard proper, nobody cares, nothing actually happened. The majority of the player base doesn't read Reddit, look at YouTube, do any of that stuff, and they just play the game and don't give a shit about any of the drama. But an official WoW token does affect even the most disconnected of players, because whilst gold buying is frowned upon, and a lot of people hate on it and despise it, and then they do it on the down low, right? People don't admit to buying gold. They always say, gold buying, a travesty, terrible, how could Blizzard this happen? And then they go to G2G or whatever website and be like, Mr. Gold Seller, could I buy 5,000 gold please? My Naxxramas consumes are way too expensive and I'm not farming 5 hours to play the game. I want to raid. That's what I'm playing World of Warcraft Classic for. Whereas on retail, it's the kind of opposite end of things. Why do people buy WoW tokens? Mythic 12, 200k. Heroic Ahead of the Curve, 250k. 1 or 2 WoW tokens, you can get your Keystone, probably like 5 WoW tokens, you can get your Keystone Master. Like 20, you could get your Keystone Legend. People, like, if you have a real life job or anything, a lot of these people are just going to drop the money, buy the gold, and then buy the things that they can't do with their own lack of time. And it's just become this huge pervasive issue across the board, across the industry. And it really does make me sad that gold buying has reached this threshold, this precipice, almost this level of acceptance where I see comments all the time. I made a video about the WoW token a while back saying this is terrible, they should never add it to the game. I don't want Classic Plus to have this. And I had people in my actual comment section quite literally say, who the fuck are you to tell me how to play? I work a real job. I go and work a hard life, a 9 to 5. And when I come home, who are you to tell me how to spend my money? fuck your version. I want to play how I want to play. You don't get to tell me how to play the game. And there are genuine people like this who think buying gold is okay, is acceptable, because we're in a new era, a new day, a new modern gameplay system where my IRL, I work 1 hour, I can pay for the same amount of gold, it takes me 10, 20 hours to grind. And that's a terrible mindset, because yes, your real life money goes way further, but you're ruining the game integrity, the game experience, and honestly just overall cripples the sociality and the existence of the game when bots, gold selling, gold buying become a rampant and accepted situation. So when the WoW token officially gets added to TBC Classic in this context, it quite literally damns the game's entire integrity when it comes to farming. Now retail WoW, right, at this point in time nobody cares. Gold buying was such a rampant issue for so long that Blizzard just added the WoW token to get their own slice of the pie, and it made a lot of the more casual and more scared players be willing to drop the gold in to buy gold, like buy WoW tokens. But I don't want that to come to Classic. And yes, I know everybody's gonna say, we deserve this, we got what we deserve, we shouldn't have bought so much gold, you should have gone playing a private servers. If you're still playing official Blizzard servers, this is your fault. I've heard all the arguments in all my videos and all my comment sections, right? But that's still a bad situation. Just because a private server has this, just because I enjoy official Blizzard game modes, doesn't mean I should have a worse or terrible experience. I think Blizzard should take into account the fact that yes, there's a lot of gold buyers. Yes, people swipe and RMT is a huge issue. But banning in this context the GDKP, or banning in this context the gold buying and then putting the WoW token isn't the solution. You need to actively handle the bots. You need to actively ban all the bots, all the gold sellers. If you can't do that, permaban every single gold buyer. If people are genuinely afraid to buy gold, it'll solve the issue. I don't like the idea of a WoW token being added to the game and further breaking down the integrity of what it means to play Classic WoW or play World of Warcraft. We've already given up a lot of the situations that make Classic WoW Classic WoW. The journey doesn't matter. For a huge portion of the player base, getting to endgame and raiding is the journey. That's it. 1 to 60, I've done it 17 times, nobody cares. Community? Nope. Soft reserve and GDKPs is far better than running with a guild. Loot councils are corrupt, this and that. I don't want to play with those people. And yes, at the highest level, I know loot council is still a thing. But for the average person, it's all SR or GDKP when accepted. If you look at Mr. Pandaria, the most popular raiding method, the most popular way people actually play the game is GDKP. Yes, there's a lot of guilds, there's a lot of communities, but that's far in between from where the majority play and consume it in the game and how they experience it. My boy Hello J Taylor's been talking about, the fall of Blizzard, the decline, how it's become so shitty to be a Classic WoW fan or a Classic WoW player. You've seen creators like Armpy quit because, they don't have nothing to look forward to. And you've seen this whole exodus of players leaving the game to go play on private servers or do this or play that or just disconnect from World of Warcraft as an experience. And it's because every little addition that breaks down the integrity of the game pushes people further and further away. That's not to say they won't all come back the moment TBC Anniversary drops, or for example Classic Plus, or Classic Season 2, Classic 2, whatever you want to call it, like all these other new things that come out. Of course everybody's coming back. It'd be stupid to say, oh my god, they left and not coming back, they got integrity. Almost nobody's got integrity. Everybody's gonna come back when the next big MMO drops, whether that's Classic 2, Raid MMO, whatever. People just want to play the game, but they don't want to play in the current state where they're playing the exact same product, re-released, but in a slightly less beneficial, slightly worse version. And I know for a fact that the WoW token on TBC is going to make a disgusting amount of gold because they're probably going to add a GDKP on server. They're going to launch a fresh batch of servers and they're going to be like, these are GDKP only servers, or they're going to make, the existing servers GDKP only and let people transfer off to a non-GDKP version, whatever they do, right? And across the board, that's sad. That's not good, the fact that they know how much money they're going to end up making because so many people are okay with RMT, okay with swiping, okay with buying gold. I know this might sound long-winded or a rant, or at the end of the day, who cares, Eben, just give up and move on. But I love World of Warcraft, I love Classic WoW, I even love retail, I love the Warcraft IP as a whole, despite all of its problems, and I want it to get better. And seeing the fact that adding the WoW token to TBC seems to be on the horizon doesn't fill me with joy. I was already expecting a Dark Portal bundle, I was already expecting, a level boost of 58, I was expecting all of these things. But now that the WoW token's in game, they're effectively making buying gold official in the Classic trilogy, the Classic experience. When it happened in Wrath of the Lich King, it pissed a lot of people off. But almost everybody kept buying gold because GDKPs just, it made swiping way more official and accepted and nobody cared anymore. And I hate that that's the direction we're heading with TBC Anniversary. This does dampen my joy for TBC Anniversary, but I have to keep it real with everybody. I for 0 seconds doubt that this is going to make Blizzard an obscene amount of money, an obscene amount of cash, and especially if they add GDKPs back with a level boost, GDKPs, and a WoW token. This TBC is probably going to be the most profitable version of Classic of all time. Probably going to make more money than 2019's like 7 million people that resubscribed. I can guarantee you now that if they add all 3 of those things into the game, you're going to have some people with 7, 8 ults. You're going to look at Raider, you're going to look at Warcraft logs, and you're going to see people with like 200, 300, 400,000 active raiders. There's going to be some guy called Joe with 4 ults raiding on 4 different GDKPs. And people are going to love that. They're going to buy their gear. They're going to feel better and enjoy the game. Because the token's official, the booster's official, and GDKPs will be official. And all of this is, in my opinion, a sad state of affairs. Because if they just banned bots, I don't think GDKP would be that popular. That's just my statement, just my opinion, right? I could be wrong. But if they ban the gold sellers and the gold buyers, I don't think there'd be this huge economy issues or this huge player base issue or just these huge cultural issues in the game and the community. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you going to buy a WoW token and swipe in the GDKPs? What are you going to do? Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe. Don't subscribe. I don't give a shit. Thank you all. Ebenhard out. Peace.